this content is for kids.
It's not for kids.
Isn't that what I said?
No, it's not for kids. If you are 13 years or younger, this is not for you. Do I have to kill somebody in order to actually make that point across?
No, man, you don't have to kill
Wait
no one.
a second.
No.
When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings! You're watching SeptumSin vs. the World. I'm SeptumSin. This is Kotobukijake.
Hey!
And we're here to show you what they got.
Yeah.
But, couple of notes. No Gundam. And a couple of other notes on Blu-ray.com, just in case we've screwed up and you find something that we don't. Just a couple of items. Ahiru no Sora Complete Collection Premium Edition moved to June 1st, but I don't feel like we need to cover it again. Last Exile, Fam the Silver Wing, the Essentials Edition is slated for July 27th, so it's a bit early for us to talk about that one.
Did you have that on the slideshow?
No. These are on Blu-ray.com.
Oh, okay.
I'm just addressing the ones on Blu-ray.com that didn't get put on the slideshow. And finally, Safe House, June 8th release. So, next week.
Yeah.
So, why don't we show you what's coming out today?
Woohoo!
We got the bits of yesterday. 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 We're dreaming pixels and 2D sprites. We're longing for the days of playing all night. We're throwing controllers, we're blowing in games. AES, Danny says we got the bits of yesterday. 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 The burning bushes and breaking the lights. The star punches to finish the fight. We got the power, not the glove. We got the bits of yesterday. 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 We got the power. We got the power. Well, they got the power. We got the power. We got the bits of yesterday. 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 We're dreaming pixels and 2D sprites. We're longing for the days of playing all night. We're throwing controllers, we're blowing in games. AES, Danny says we got the bits of yesterday. 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 The burning bushes and blinking red lights, the star punches to finish the fight. We got the power, not the glove. We got the bits of yesterday. 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 We got the power. We got the power. We got the power. We got the power. We got the bits of yesterday. 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 We got the bits of yesterday.
Well, we've got ourselves a nice little group of stuff this time around. Of course, we have our ratings, priority, must get, or will eventually get. Yes, please. We're going to wish list that. We would like to get it. Curious. Well, curious.
Yeah.
Meh. We're
I've
not
had that
adverse
for a
to
while.
having it. Yeah, exactly. We're not adverse to having it. And hell no, never. Never. No. Bad. All right. So let's get started. Little time, but a lot to go.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Am I first?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I put it at Ranman. This is a show that I don't think I'd heard about before. I can't recall. But from what I understand, it's essentially a wild... as I understand it, it's a steampunk-tinged Western. Which, considering that one of the all-time great steampunk Westerns is one of my favorite TV shows, Adventures of Briscoe County Jr., that definitely bodes well for this. And the only other anime that I've seen that I remember being essentially a Western that was actually set in the West, because, you know, Trigun and a couple others are Westerns, but El Cazador de la Bruja was actually a pretty fun little show, too. So this could be fun. It's a Funimation release, 13 episodes. It is basically about a race, which it's kind of interesting that we have a couple of these this week. We'll come up to another one later. Just a mad race, a mad dash for great prizes and so forth. So I'm gonna... being unfamiliar with this, I don't think I can really give it a yes, please, but I am definitely curious.
I can give it that. It has a really cool cover, too.
Yeah.
Alright, so I went ahead, since I already got the first 2 seasons, I figured it would be good for me to cover Black Clover Season 3 Part 4. I will be getting it, but not in this format.
No.
As per our usual chats of these types.
Yeah.
Of course, looking at this sort of thing, again, it continues. It's episodes something to something.
130 to 141.
There you go, 130 to 141.
So an 11-episode block, basically?
Yeah.
12-episode block?
As big as these seasons are, I'd rather not.
I mean, so let's do the math here. Rightstuf has the, quote, sale price of $41.24 for this block.
Yeah.
This is the...
Fourth part.
12th block so far. So if this is, I think, because are they 4 or 5 parts per season?
It depends on the season length.
So just keep it simple. 4 parts per season. This is at least the 12th block so far. So Funimation feels that you should have been happy to throw down 600 on this series so far. I'm sorry, I'm going to wait for bigger chunks of episodes.
Now, they are hoping that you would have thrown down about 160 for this season so far.
Yeah.
Which is a slight cost.
I want to see Black Clover, but I don't want to pay those prices.
I paid a pretty low price for the first 2. And I paid less for the first 2 seasons as a whole than I would have paid for 2 parts of this. So I will wait till the season comes out together. So, but it is a yes please for me because I am going to get it eventually, just not in that form.
I can leave it at curious for now. I'm strongly curious, but that price point is a barrier to entry.
It is. Plus long series.
Yeah.
To be.
Okay, Mysterious Girlfriend X. This is a decided downgrade, in my opinion, from the previous cover. Sentai released this a while back, and then it kind of fell out of print for a minute. But now they're re-releasing it, and I don't know if this is the first time they've had an English dub or not.
I got the,
but
you have the thing, but it's down there somewhere.
It's one that, it's a rather mysterious to me because I have not seen it. It looks interesting. I'm reading the description here, and it sounds kind of interesting and amusing, perhaps. I do want to see this. I don't think I've bought it. But I probably will in the future. Sentai just had a pretty decent sale, and they'll have another one eventually.
It was cheap.
What?
This. And I have read some of the manga. And I have a hard time watching it because I find the concept kind of disgusting. So I will have to try it out eventually, but right now it's still in it. Well, go ahead.
Right. Yeah. I will give it a curious. I'm not going to definitely rush to get it, but it's on the agenda. I don't think I have it. With Sentai, it's hard to remember sometimes because I buy so many of them on sale. But
even though I have it, it was because I purchased it for less than $5. So
okay.
We are going to...
Actually, I came really close on this sale to one of those kind of series where the concept is kind of off-putting, but I still kind of want it. And that was the Dog and Scissors one. I almost got it, and I was like...
Is it? That one's a much more interesting series.
Yeah.
No, you can't drink my water, cat. No.
Foo.
Cats, I tell you. Cats. Okay. Well, I just have to... Alright, so, Emma. I figured I would cover this season since you covered the second season, the first season. So, this one has been one that has been up both our alley. I wish I had gotten this one on the original release because I do love those other boxes releases that they had. But it is kind of cool having these on Blu-ray. It does look pretty cool. I had wanted it for a long time, but now I have it, and I doubt I'm going to be upgrading it anytime soon. But it does have a very Victorian feel to it, well, as the title says. But I have it still. I would say it would be a yes, please. Because I didn't originally run out to get it, but I do feel like it's
top
worthwhile. I know. I just there we go. It did not want to cooperate.
I'll give it a yes, please as well. I believe I mentioned with the previous one that I already have it as well, and I agree. I would have liked to have had those lovely art boxes original, but I have the slimmer version. And of course, they announced the Blu-ray shortly after I finally got it. But for those of you watching, I could be remembering this wrong, but I feel like Rightstuf is doing a Nozomi sale right now, right?
Well, it could be.
I believe they are. So
it's 32 right now.
Well, this one obviously is not going to be one of the ones that's a good price, But no, I think they do have a Nozomi sale going on right now, so it's worth checking out. Yeah.
All right.
So you gave me this one that I didn't even ask for.
Yeah.
Woo! Pikachu and Friends. Pika.
The way I look at it is I usually end up dividing the ones that we have both interest in, and I give out the ones that we don't randomly.
Because anime are so important, we cover them all.
And I did the Pokemon one last time, so.
Well, you do. Well, and I have to admit, this one does claim that it contains over 2 hours of Pikachu fun.
Woohoo!
I'm being facetious somewhat. As we've established before, we kind of missed the boat when it came to Pokemon. I definitely... It came along a little late to catch my interest. But I do like Pikachu. I watched Detective Pikachu. It was a good movie. But my main long-term experience with Pikachu is that Smash Brothers game where he's like the most broken character in the game. And I always loved playing. But this... it's probably not anything I would make much effort to get in the collection, but I would definitely not say no to it if someone gave it to me. And not only would I buy that for $1, I might even buy it for $2. So we'll go with meh.
Okay, so let's see. Oh, wait.
Yeah, you gotta give your rating.
Yeah. Almost tell them, but not quite. Alright, so Mob Psycho 100. Have you seen this one yet?
No, but I want to.
I've
heard good things.
I want to say there's 2 seasons to it out.
I think so.
And again, because those things are on my lower shelves, I can't really access them easy to dig them out. But Mob Psycho is, it's this guy, it seems like he's this normal guy, but when it pushes to a limit to a certain point, he becomes this kind of like murderous powerhouse. Yeah, he looks like a murderous powerhouse. And I've heard a lot of fun things about this, and you can tell that it is a high grade, because if it is, it's released on its classics note, which means they're trying to get more of that money out of it, and they think they can get the higher dollar out of it, which shows you that it's there. I did enjoy it. I got it on a sale on the original run before, so I will let you know if I get to see it. It was high enough that it was on a yes please for me, because I had wish listed it and wanted it eventually, but I wasn't willing to spring on it for like full price.
I can pretty much agree with that. I think yes please is a good rating for that one.
All right, so as our cat there you go.
So next we have Shachibato President. It's time for battle, which from what I understand is apparently a high fantasy series based on the popular mobile strategy RPG. There you go. So basically, this show has kind of a crap rating on ANN. It definitely is not one that people are talking about the way they are Mob Psycho 100. But it looks cute. It looks fun.
It's pricier.
It's what?
It's pricier than Mob Psycho 100.
Yeah, I was about to say, I ain't paying Funimation prices. But if I find this, like, let's say I go to Second and Charles and have this on the shelf for $8, I'll get it. So
indeed.
I can give it a low curious.
Okay. And where are we?
Near the bottom.
Oh, yeah, because it's an S. There it is. A yes, please, and... Wait, not a yes, please. Curious. And yes, I can go curious as well. It looks colorful.
Yeah, it does.
But not $48.
No.
Alright, so this one is one that is, to my knowledge, exclusive to Target. It might be available in other areas, but it's the only one I could find for it. I had to do a lot of hunting this month to find where these things are releasing at. Because some of these are not releasing on the traditional sites. And we're going to find that out as we go. But Backdraft is getting a 4K Steelbook. For those of you who love Backdraft, I thought Backdraft was a pretty decent one. I mean, it's firefighter film, and it is quite exciting as far as things go.
I'm Ronnie Howard film, I believe.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's... Well, $20 ain't too bad for a 4K Steelbook.
So similar items, Fast and Furious, Psycho, and the 50 Shades trilogy.
And Do the Right Thing at Animal House. Yes, they're very much similar. Yes.
Wow.
So with that being said, I haven't seen Backdraft since I watched the VHS, and that's slight difference, VHS and 4K.
I'm sure.
In quality. I do think that it's one that should be in collections. So I'm willing to go with a yes, please, but no higher than that. I do think it should be in collections. It is a good film.
I need to see it one of these days, and that's a cool-looking steelbook. I give it a... Oh, I have to give it a... Well, was that an Oscar nominee?
I don't know.
I don't
Could
think
be.
it was. I can't remember. If it is, I'll have to go yes, please, but...
Let's see. I don't think it was. I think you're thinking Towering Inferno.
Well, I wasn't, but now I am.
Well, which is a Oscar winner, actually.
Uh-huh.
There we go. Backdraft, 1991. And nominated for 3 Oscars. So I guess that would be yes,
yes,
for you.
So there we go. The question asked, question answered.
There you go.
Okay, next up we got a movie called Alpha Dog.
That's the one I was telling you
It's
about.
going to be pushed back a week, apparently. This is actually a film. We'll go ahead and give our thing, and then next week we'll just give it like a brief. And Alpha Dog's out this week. But
Yes.
this is a movie that has a number of pretty well-known people in it. Sharon Stone, Justin Timberlake, Anton Yelchin, Bruce Willis, Ben Foster, Emil Hirsch. Basically, and then the tagline says, 1 crime, 38 witnesses, no way back. I do know one, this was when Timberlake was really breaking out as an actor, so I remember it for that. But also, I had a friend at the time who told me that this was like just a great film and she loved it and whatever. I never did get around to seeing it, but it's always been kind of in the back of my mind as one to see. I'm going to probably not be able to give it a yes, please. But it's definitely a strong curious. This is one that's been on the list for a while, and I'll get there.
I can go with a little curious on
Yeah.
it. No comment.
Heh, heh, heh.
All right, so here's one I decided to go for. I was surprised you didn't try to go for this one.
Almost.
But I thought to myself, because it is one of those types of releases that is getting a release because of film preservation, and this is the only way to get a hold of it. What you're looking at right now is the only way to get a hold of Buster and Billy on Blu-ray. So, 1974 movie starring John Michael Vincent and Joan Goodfellow, Pamela Sue Martin, and Robert Englund.
Oh, I didn't realize he was in that.
A young girl's past comes back to haunt her in this moving story of teenage passion and small town morals. Set in rural Georgia in 1948, Buster Lane, one of the handsomest, most popular boys in high school, is dating the prettiest girl, Maggie Hooks. His only problem is Maggie's refusal to make love with him until they are married. In this frustration, he turns to Billy, a shy farm girl who's allowed herself to be used by all the boys to win their acceptance. Although Buster's intentions aren't honorable at first, their relationship develops when he discovers a vulnerable beauty in her. All right. So,
An abrupt and tragic twist of fate, where we've learned that Robert Englund is...
then Freddie haunts them. Well, you know, these things really have me curious more than anything else. Because, again, whenever somebody's fighting to preserve films like this, I really want to help out on that. So if I feel like I have the money to throw to it, and I'm feeling the right way, I would probably do it just because I want to do it. It doesn't have the same pull to it as that other one with Harpo in it that I had to get. This one, not really, but I do feel like it should get known. And if I see it and I have the money to throw at it, I might. So, curious.
I'm kind of surprised you don't feel drawn to it for the Robert Englund connection. But anyway, yeah, I will give it a strong curious too. I hadn't realized that this was one of those kind of, when I first saw it. So that's kind of cool.
So, just one of those things. You know how it is.
Yep. All right. Next up we have Billions, Season 2. Showtime series featuring Paul Giamatti and Damian Lewis. Looks pretty good. It's definitely been very popular with folks at the library. And, I mean, with those two in the leads, it's got to be decent. I'm pretty sure they've already released all the seasons, and I'm thinking this is probably the first Blu-ray release.
Yeah, and it's fairly limited, too.
Right. So, I certainly want this show. I'm still kind of holding out for a complete series collection. And even then, it's got to be the right price. I'm not paying billions for it. But, one of these days. So, a strong curious.
Okay. For me, meh. Too much of an investment. But if I'm given it, it's given to me, or if I find it really cheap, I may.
Okay.
I may decide.
Okay.
All right. So another one, which doesn't even have a good format like there, but Honeydew. Now, I've heard about this a little while back. I'd heard rumblings of it. Very independent horror film. I don't know much of it. It looks interesting, mainly because I keep hearing whispers of it over and over again. And the last time I heard it was coming out, I could find no place that sold it. So I'm like, well, if you can't find a place that sells it, it's not coming out. Unless you can tell me where. Which is why I decided to start throwing those things at the beginning. Because if you guys can find out where they're selling some of these today, then let us know in the comments. That way other people can read the comments and say, oh. So this time I did find a copy on oldies.com. Is releasing it today.
They have the most random stuff.
And so, it looks really cool. I like the poster for it. Did I show you the poster? You've seen
I saw the poster, yeah.
I like the poster for it. It looks like something that might interest me. I have a curiosity for it. So I put it as curious.
Well, I'm going to do something that doesn't happen very often, but based on what limited information I have on this series, nonetheless, based on the information I have about this series movie, I'm probably going to have to go hell no.
All right.
Because it said right there on the site, aimed at churning the stomach. I'm like, no. So hell
no. It's down to a meh. All right.
There we go. Now it's Anderson's turn to drink your water. Okay, Flesh and Bone. Dennis Quaid, James Caan, Meg Ryan. Movie I don't believe I'd ever heard of before, and he found this also on
only place selling the Blu-ray.
You saved 99 cents. Woo! Isn't that lovely? I'll be honest, there's one major reason I put this on here, and that is that we just covered a Dennis Quaid, Meg Ryan movie on Inside Movies Galore, Inner Space. And so the timing of this is quite hilarious to me. So, Flesh and Bone, if you saw that discussion and you wanted to know what else the two of them have done together, here you go. I'm curious.
I'll leave it at a little curious for that. Almost a meh.
Yeah.
Alright, so The Little Rascals, the Class of Flicks Restorations Volume 1, which Volume 2 is coming out in July, so I'll toss you that one when we're doing that way. We'll split it. The Little Rascals was a classic TV show that probably wouldn't hold up today.
Probably not.
About these little kids, very strange little kids, even for the day. And this has a bunch of their stuff on it. Let's see if it has all the stuff listed.
I think it's supposed to be like 20 of the shorts, isn't it?
It's supposed to be a lot of them. Let's see if they have something down here. There we go.
11 shorts.
Small Talk, Railroadin', Lazy Days, Boxing Gloves, Bouncing Babies, Moanin' Groaning, Shivering Shakespeare, The First 7 Years, When the Wind Blows, Bear Shooters, and A Tough Winter. So 6 more releases planned.
Basically 29 and 30. So some old-timey stuff.
Now I'm curious about this. The fact that there's going to be 6 volumes entirely is a bit much to get invested in, but I'm a little curious.
But it's an important piece of entertainment history. Whether or not it's aged well, it definitely was a forerunner of quite a lot that came after. So yeah, I'm almost tempted to go yes please, but you're right, it is a lot of an investment in that, so I'll leave it as a high curious. But
so let's see, who's released this? Is this Kino? No.
Classic Flicks.
Nope. Classic Flicks. So I have... Yeah, it maybe.
Right. So next up we have, this was an Oscar nominee, I checked, In and Out, Frank Oz film. We have a couple of Frank Oz films coming out this week, one a little bit more acclaimed than the other. But In and Out was a nominee for supporting actress for Joan Cusack, of all people. And basically, if I remember it correctly, Kevin Kline was I think a professor or a teacher or some such thing, who was dealing with his sexual confusion, if you will. And it's actually a fairly entertaining movie. I have seen it, and it's been a while, so I don't remember it well. It's a good movie, well done. Kind of a random release for this week, but you know. I do think that it is a good film to have. I think I have it on DVD. I'm not going to go out of my way to upgrade it, but if I found this on Blu-ray for $1, I would happily snap it up. But partly because of the Oscar nomination, I will have to give it a yes, please.
It's been a long time since I've seen it as well, but I do feel like it's aptly timed because it's coming out, well, today, which is the first day of Pride Month.
Ah, that might be why.
And from what I've been told, it's actually pretty popular within the LGBTQ community. So it apparently does hold up well, surprisingly so. And because of that, I'll leave it in the yes, please.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure I really whether I have it or whether I'm going to get it, but I'll leave it there.
Okay. So,
Mommy Dearest. This one is an adapted screenplay of sorts. And definitely, it's one of those Paramount releases. And you want a hard film to watch. Whew, it's a hard one, but it's a very well acted film. Faye Dunaway does an amazing job in this, and
she plays Joan Crawford, right?
She does, and her with her private demons and all of this, it's a hard one to watch. I'm just gonna say that. Essentially, it's a very good film. One that should be had, and this would not be a bad format to get it in. I mean, you could do much worse, in my opinion. So with this, I don't have it yet. It is on my list, so it is a yes, please for me.
That wasn't an Oscar nominee, was it?
I don't think so, but
I don't think it was, but I really can't remember. It is a film that got a lot of praise for the performances, but it's also fairly infamous. I think partly because of what you said of
nope.
If it did, yeah.
It did get a number of awards. So.
Yeah, Faye Dunaway did get a lot of praise. Oh, but it also got a Razzie for Worst Picture of the Decade.
So, yeah.
Nice. So that right there should make it a yes, please, right? I'll give it that. I'll stick with that. It's one I haven't seen yet, and I'm kind of dreading it, but, Okay, so Smokey and the Bandit. Didn't we cover a Smokey and the Bandit collection?
I checked. It was the collection last week, so this week it's...
So now we get a 4K release of just the first film, but, probably everything we said, we probably covered this one pretty well. If you really want to see Burt Reynolds' mustache in the highest definition possible... There you go.
Well, I would say that if you're not like me and having to have all the sequels to a movie,
right?
If you can just say I just collect the good ones, that's probably all you need.
And it's a nice looking edition. I mean, the cover is pretty nice, so it works.
Let's see what it's got.
And it's got a lot of bonus features. Holy crap!
So yeah, you could do a lot worse.
Yeah, you could.
But yeah, I had to give that one to you.
Yeah, that's fine.
And it's
a yes, please. It is one to have in the collection.
So I'll give it that too.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on.
Okay.
All right. Rat Race.
This was that other one we were talking about.
The kind of the remake of It's a Mad World. Yeah. So. Essentially, a bunch of people running to get money, and like It's a Mad World, its main draw is the cast, because the movie itself is not all that great. It's not a bad movie.
It's fun,
but it's not a great movie. Much like It's a Mad
right.
World, it's all about the cast. And I remember this when it was releasing on DVD. 5 years. It took 5 years after its DVD release for it to go below $20.
Really?
Because I wanted it, but I wasn't going to pay $20 for it. So it just took that long for it to fall. And I was like, what is so special about this film that it deserves to stay
I do like the cover art of this release. That's pretty cool.
So it's a good cover. Well, it's a decent enough movie. And its release price is certainly better than $20.
Oh, yeah. Heck, you can get $10 on Prime.
I would say a low yes, please, just because of the cast right there. To me, the cast alone is worth having. All those credits is nice.
Yeah, you keep talking about the cast, but you haven't mentioned them. We got John Cleese in there, of course, Rowan Atkinson, Seth Green, Breckin Mayer, Whoopi Goldberg, John Lovitz, Amy Smart. Pretty good group of people. I think this one did also have some cameos like the first one did too, I believe. Of course, the first one gave the Three Stooges star billing for standing in a...
They'd win Best Cameo, though.
I don't know. They were just standing in one scene. Okay, but I'm not sure I can give this a yes, please. It's a high curious, but I'm not sure it quite gets there.
All right.
Okay.
Moving on.
The Sweet Requiem. This is directed by Ritu Sarin and Tenzing Sonam, and it's about basically the Tibetan experience, from what I understand. Which I know, with all your criticism on the Chinese government, you'd probably be kind of interested in this one. My understanding is it's basically about some people who, in Tibet, that, like, one of them has to go on a journey and learn about their past or something. I read the description briefly. This one just caught my attention, and I thought it would be kind of a nice addition to the world cinema collection, basically. So I'll give it a curious.
I can give it a curious.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Samurai Jack, the complete series. Now, I've got the out-of-print version of the same thing, but this one's going to save you a crap ton of room.
I was going to say, your version looks like it's, what, about 5 times thicker?
Yeah, this one's like the size of one DVD, one Blu-ray, and it has all 5 seasons in it.
Nice.
Just like the other version. And in a way, if it was on sale, really cheap, I might upgrade just to do it, but not for $101.
Yeah,
I think I can just keep my version, because why would I upgrade to this? There's no upgrade, really. It's just room saving at that point. But if you don't have Samurai Jack, I've heard a lot of good things. There's a reason why I got mine for much less than $101, by the way. I've heard some really good things from the Cartoon Network era. The art style is kind of to me, but I've heard the story is amazing. And it has the 5th season that they added later to wrap up the story beats.
Cool.
A lot of fans of this series out there in the world. To me, because it's such a high-rated series, it's a yes, please for me. If I can find the darn thing, there it is.
Kind of hard to miss.
I wouldn't be getting it right away, but certainly I think it should be in collections, just because of the reputation alone.
I more or less agree with that, although since I have no grounding in this, and it is pricey, it's really hard for me to list it as yes please until I see some of it, so I might go curious on that one.
Alright.
I'd buy that for $1.
Yeah, at least you didn't say hell no.
No, I wouldn't say hell no on that one. Alright, now this is one some people would say hell no on. The other Frank Oz film that's getting a re-release this week is his remake of the old 70s film The Stepford Wives, which said remake has also a pretty incredible cast. You got Nicole Kidman, Matthew Broderick, Bette Midler, Christopher Walken, Glenn Close. You got a few other good folks in there. I thought it was an interesting movie. It was okay. It was creepy and weird, and I've actually never seen the original. Maybe one day I'll get around to it. Maybe when I see the original, I'll be like, well, why the hell would they have, what were they thinking? Maybe I would say that. But without any other grounding, I think the film gets an excessively bad rap. And I like it. I'd be happy to give it a curious ranking. I'm not upgrading my DVD at any time soon unless I see it for $1.
Yeah, I think I've got it on DVD, and that's probably where it's gonna stay.
Right.
As I scan up to see, it's not gonna be up there because it'll probably be down at the bottom.
Yes, it will be.
But I've seen the original, and the original's really good. And this has some commentary, but it's just okay. So this is just okay.
Okay. Good times.
Moving on. All right. Spare parts. Another one I know you're going to be like either hell no or meh on right away. But I had to put it up here because I just love this. I just love this cover. A heavy punk rock grindhouse of gore. Let the battle begin. I mean, that's just awesome right there.
Hell no.
And So I don't know much about this other than it just looks like a lot of fun to me. And since I know his is already hell no, it's going to automatically go in between to a meh because I'd be more on that curious side. But that part, that would just sell me on the All right.
All right, that was easy. Okay, another one that may not make everyone's list of must-gets, but some people would. We are seeing a 2-movie 4K collection, Lara Croft Tomb Raider, and Lara Croft Tomb Raider, The Cradle of Life, which, as we all know, is the role that got Angelina Jolie her Oscar.
Yeah.
But actually, I actually like these movies. They're good, dumb fun. You know, it's not bad movies. The first one's also getting a re-release on its own, apparently. But I guess they didn't see the need to do that with the second one. They're fun movies. Nothing great, nothing to write home about, but they're worth a curious, if nothing else.
Just a side note. And the first one's only getting a re-release on Blu-ray.
Yeah, that's kind of
Now,
weird.
but what's funny is that the two movies do have 4K standalone releases.
Right.
So I guess if you wanted to just really, really wanted to get that first one on Blu-ray,
Right.
and you missed out on the first printing, and you didn't want to buy the other one like cheap, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it's curious enough. They were okay. It's there.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. So another one that's only on oldies.com is the kind of remake of The Uninvited. They're not technically a remake, technically not. It's a standard haunted house fare, fairly decent. I enjoyed it enough. I did not enjoy it as much as the original old film that they did. But it was standard haunting thing. There you go. Following a suspicious death of her mother, Sister Anne and Alex have become entangled in a deadly battle of wits when their father becomes engaged to Rachel, their mother's former caretaker. As the two sisters investigate Rachel's questionable past, they're confronted with ghostly visions, terrifying nightmares, and deadly consequences, leading to an ending so shocking that it will send chills down your spine. I liked it okay. It's not super bloody or gory, so, that's got some minuses there. But as far as a suspenseful, haunting tale, it does its job.
I did not bother looking at this one, but Emily Browning and David Strathairn and Elizabeth Banks thrown into the mix. I'm curious. That's a hell of a cast.
All right, well, we leave it.
Okay.
Move on.
Who is Harry Nilsson, and why is everybody talking about him? This is a Kino release, right? So this is basically MVD visual. Sorry. This is a documentary about Harry Nilsson, which I suppose it tells you who he is, huh?
Hey, everybody's talking about him.
Well, the Beatles apparently said he was their favorite American musician. Won 2 Grammys, 17 gold records. But, yeah, he's not someone most people are super familiar with. So, I have said before, I enjoy a good music documentary. I am vaguely familiar with Nilsson's work. I'm definitely curious to hear more. This kind of reminds me a little bit of, like, it could be a little bit of a Searching for Sugar Man kind of vibe to it, which would be really cool. So I'm strongly curious on that.
I'll go with curious. I mean, it would be nice to know who he is.
Right. Oh, are you going to move up the Tomb Raider to go with the other one?
Yeah, that's over there.
There you go.
Well, he's where he would like to be.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not with the uninvited.
Right. Well, they're uninvited.
But he's got Lara Croft to protect him.
Exactly.
So actually from Kino is Whodunit, which is Benny Hill and Belinda Lee. which one of these like clumsy detectives. And, you know, Benny Hill as a comic actor, which does not hold up very well in this day and age. But I think he's funny, and I am very curious about this one. Does it show the price on it here? I guess let's see, Shop Home Video.
There you go.
There we go. 14. That's not terrible. You know, on a big sale, maybe I would get it perchance. So,
isn't this like one of his first features, or?
Yeah, definitely in the timing of it. So, I mean, I'm curious. Strongly curious.
I'm curious too. I'll probably end up getting it eventually. Your Honor. You get a nice up close of Bryan Cranston looking stern. Then that's all you gotta know, is that if you don't buy this disc, he will be disappointed. And if Bryan Cranston is disappointed in you, your life as you know it is going to be different.
It's a 3-disc set, so
it's a TV mini series or something.
Yeah.
I think it's a Showtime series or something.
See if it has anything.
I can't remember who all's in it besides Bryan Cranston, but I remember seeing a couple fun people in the cast. It looks interesting. I'll give it a curious.
I'm curious just because there's no information. It's hard to find a lot about this. So I'll give it a little curious.
Okay.
So, of course, we had a few that we left out.
Well, you left out one that I very specifically put on my list. 2 that I put on my list, actually.
We'll talk about them now.
Yeah. I'm just making sure they're the only 2.
I had put Herbie Reloaded on my list, but which is a Disney only,
Herbie Fully Loaded.
But it can stay off the list.
I don't know. I always thought it was hilarious that Lindsay Lohan was in a movie subtitled Fully Loaded.
Sorry, when you did it like a small paragraph, I missed some of the stuff.
Well, there were 2. The Courier, I'm listed mainly because it's a 2020 release. Benedict Cumberbatch and a bunch of other fun folks. And that one definitely is curious. I doubt I'll make time to watch it in time for our awards, but it could happen. So it's curious. And the other one, you talk about Pride Month, whatever. This is a movie that's been on my radar for years, and even more so than Alpha Dog. I've been wanting to watch it and just never got around to it. But it's getting a re-release almost certainly because of Pride Month, and that's the movie But I'm a Cheerleader, which is Natasha Lyonne, Clea Duvall, and a bunch of other folks. Leon basically plays a cheerleader who's sent to a, what do they call it, like a re-education camp or whatever it is to, by her stupid parents. And I had heard this was a pretty good one. At the time, I was a big fan of some of the people in the cast, and I'm definitely I've heard it's flawed but good, and I definitely want to give that a go. So that's a strong curious for me.
Okay.
I might even prioritize it getting a re-release, but I don't know that that's enough to push it up to yes please though.
No opinions on either.
Okay.
Otherwise, another Doctor Who release.
I'm surprised neither of us picked that.
These like airplane documentaries, which are really hard to find.
I bet you that would be something my dad would have loved.
But you can see Disney is still releasing. Actually, Disney is releasing more and more things exclusively on their movie club.
Right.
So you might be looking at some of those Gary Shiloh
Defending
things.
Jacob was on my list too.
Well.
Oh well. We'll leave it at that.
So, well, with that, I hope you've enjoyed this. Of course, if you did, click that like button, hit that subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.